watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout outs to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, habla Cindy, está viendo Deportes TV.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So I just read an article Mikey Garcia did, addressing the regards of a fight between himself and Vasyl Lomachenko. Mikey, you can check this article out on boxingscene.com. It's titled Mikey Garcia explains his confidence. Excuse me. It's titled Mikey Garcia explains his confidence against Vasyl Lomachenko. He had a couple of interesting things to say. Mainly, the one that jumped right out at me is his competition. Mikey Garcia said he cannot give Vasyl Lomachenko any credit for the competition that he's faced. He said he only gives him credit for one fighter that he's faced and beat, and that fighter being Jorge Linares. He said it was a very good fight. He said, aside from Jorge Linares, I can't credit him for fighting guys like Guillermo Rigondeaux, who is a 122-pounder. I can't credit him for beating guys like Jason Sosa, Miguel Mariaga. I can't give him credit for that. I see the talent in his boxing abilities, but I can't give him credit for beating those kind of guys. Garcia, that's what Mikey Garcia said. He said, but beating Linares at lightweight and making the adjustments, because I thought it was a good fight early on. Linares was doing well, and then Lomachenko comes up from being knocked down and turns it around and stops Linares. You have to give the man credit for that. That's the only other fight that excites me at 135. Lomachenko and Garcia. He said that's the only fight that excites him outside of fighting Robert Easter fight. So should he get past Robert Easter, the only other fight that excites him at 135 and to keep him at 135 is the fight between himself and Vasyl Lomachenko. You know, he said he views Vasyl Lomachenko as a talented fighter. He says, but he don't believe the two-time gold medal winner will be able to dominate at a higher weight like 135. You know, he says, I just didn't see him dominate. I just didn't see him dominate in the way that he does in lower divisions. He fought a great champion in Jorge. He fought an experienced fighter. I have better boxing abilities than Jorge. I have better power than Jorge. And that's why I think that I would do very well against Lomachenko. So he's saying that, you know, he does everything better than Jorge Linares, and Jorge Linares basically give him, you know, hella trouble. You know, he said he saw it as a good fight. He actually saw it as an even fight at one point, you know, especially with the knockdown. He said, but he gives him credit for getting up and finishing the fight and stopping Jorge Linares. He said, but the way he views himself versus Vasyl Lomachenko, he said that Jorge Linares gives him trouble. He does everything better than Jorge Linares. You know, he said he is a better boxer. He said he's a more accurate puncher. You know, he has more power. You know, so he believes that he'll do very, very well. Interesting is that he said he don't give him any credit for any of the fights that he had, except for outside of the fight with Jorge Linares. He said he can't give him credit for the Guillermo Rigondeaux fight, making Guillermo Rigondeaux come up 2 weight classes to take that fight. Although I can't discredit Vasyl Lomachenko for taking the fight versus Guillermo Rigondeaux, because if you remember, Guillermo Rigondeaux was the one that went out on a limb and was calling him out. You know, Guillermo Rigondeaux was taunting him, you know, via social media. Every interview he did, you know, he was calling him out, saying that he was scared, he needed to fight a real fighter, he ain't a quitter, you know. And then to his credit, you know, even I thought that I was wrong, because I thought that Guillermo Rigondeaux was going to beat Vasyl Lomachenko, and he proved me wrong. I was disappointed in the showing Guillermo Rigondeaux put out there, man. I thought he could have did a lot better. You know, he definitely was a smaller fighter in the fight, but I thought he could have did a lot better in the fight. You know, I think he could have tried harder. I definitely think he quit. He made excuses because at one point, you know, I think he realized that this dude has just as much skills as I do, and he's bigger than me. So, you know, I think that he gave up in the fight, claiming that he broke his hand or hurt his hand or whatever may have you. So, you know, I got to give him credit for the Guillermo Rigondeaux fight, because, you know, Carl Frampton, Scott Quigg, Leo Santa Cruz, Abner Mares, all these guys ducked Guillermo Rigondeaux, man. They all ducked Guillermo Rigondeaux. You know, every last one of them, they ducked him. You know, Vasyl Lomachenko, to his credit, he said that, you know, he didn't want to fight Guillermo Rigondeaux because he was too small. He felt like he was too small. He wouldn't get credit for it. So to Vasyl Lomachenko's credit, you know, to his defense, you know, he didn't even want to fight with Rigondeaux, but Rigondeaux kept pressing him and pressing him. And this is what we talk about with the Anthony Joshua Deontay Wilder situation. Just like I talked about with Canelo Alvarez and Erislandy Lara. You know, when the dude keep pressing you, your pride sometimes at some point has to kick in, and that's what Vasyl Lomachenko did. This guy was taunting him like Wilder taunted Anthony Joshua, like Erislandy Lara was taunting Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez pride kicked in and he told Oscar De La Hoya, I don't care what you say, I don't care what you think, you got to make the fight happen. I'm not going to let this guy just disrespect me like this. Same goes for Shane Mosley when he jumped in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. Same thing that should go for Anthony Joshua with the way Deontay Wilder is calling him out in via social media and any other thing, any other network he gets his hands on. He calls Anthony Joshua out, you know, and we expect you to, your pride to kick in and you to respond as a man, you know, and that's what Vasyl Lomachenko did. He said that he didn't want to fight with Guillermo Rigondeaux because he was too small, but the way Rigondeaux kept calling him out, the way Rigondeaux was tormenting him, his pride kicked in and he said, you know something, Bob Arum, make the fight happen, man. I can't. You want this fight? Okay, now you're going to get what you asked for. So to Lomachenko's credit, I got to give him credit for the Rigondeaux fight because he didn't even want the fight. Rigondeaux called him out. He took it like a man, so we can't discredit him for that. I understand what Mikey Garcia is saying as far as Rigondeaux coming up 2 weight classes, so, you know, he don't give him credit for it, but, you know, as a fan of the sport and as a reporter of the sport, you know, I got to give him credit because Guillermo Rigondeaux taunted that man and he felt like he saw something in him and he couldn't capitalize. He did stop very dangerous, although Nicholas Walters wasn't active at the time. He did stop Nicholas Walters, and you know, I got to give him credit for that because Nicholas Walters was avoided as well, and he's a very, very dangerous fighter. So, you know, I give him credit for that. You know, but do I think Vasyl Lomachenko's pound for pound #1 as the world perceives him? I don't think so. You know, I have Terence Crawford #1 pound for pound in the world. And if Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence is a 50-50 fight, then Errol Spence must be up there in the top 5 pound for pound as well. Vasyl Lomachenko only has 12 fights, you know, so, and he lost one of those fights to a journeyman in Orlando Salido, who Mikey Garcia beat up and stopped. So, you know, I favor Mikey Garcia versus Vasyl Lomachenko. I know some of the other brothers in the LDBC favor Vasyl Lomachenko in that fight. Mainly my guy, Black Fight Fan TV. He believes that Vasyl Lomachenko is just going to beat up on Mikey Garcia. I don't believe that. You know, I believe that Mikey Garcia will beat Vasyl Lomachenko. And he just had some interesting things to say. He said that he does everything that gave Lomachenko trouble when he fought Jorge Linares. He does everything that much better than Jorge Linares, so he sees himself beaten. That's why he sees himself beating Vasyl Lomachenko. And Vasyl Lomachenko is a very small guy. You know, I've seen him in person. I didn't realize that he was so much bigger than Guillermo Rigondeaux, but he was much more bigger than Guillermo Rigondeaux when I see him in person. But he's definitely still a small guy. He has very short arms. So I do favor Mikey Garcia in that fight. You know, Mikey Garcia is a fighter who actually went up to 140 pounds and had a fight. So, you know, Vasyl Lomachenko being a smaller guy with short arms, you know, even though he's very technical, he has a lot of boxing abilities and he has a lot of agility. You know, he gives you a lot of different angles and things of that sort. But Mikey Garcia is very, very technical. He's very, very sound in his approach. He's a very good counter puncher. And I think that proven to be the difference. You know, I always liken this fight I compare this fight to Juan Manuel Marquez when Marquez fought Manny Pacquiao. However many times they fought, I got a little tongue tied, excuse me, but however many times they fought, you know, it's always going to be a close fight. The knockdowns always was the difference in the fights between Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez. They were all very, very close fights. And I liken this fight, Lomachenko to Mikey Garcia to Manny Pacquiao versus Juan Manuel Marquez. I think they're going to be, no matter how many times they fight, it will always be a close fight. But I think that Mikey Garcia, the difference being between Garcia and Lomachenko. The difference between that and Manny Pacquiao versus Marquez is the size. Mikey Garcia is definitely going to be the bigger guy in the fight. Pacquiao and Marquez were similar in size, you know. Then Mikey Garcia and Lomachenko are not similar in size at all. Loma is not nowhere near the size of Mikey Garcia. You can actually see it on the picture that they had, they took together. You know, you can see the difference. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got, man. So Mikey Garcia has some interesting things to say. He said that Jorge Linares gave him a tough fight. He can't give Vasyl Lomachenko any credit for the fights he had, and he won outside of Jorge Linares. And he compares himself to Jorge Linares, that's Garcia, saying that he does everything better than Jorge Linares. And Jorge Linares give him trouble, he sees himself beating Vasyl Lomachenko. But that's all I got. Let me know what y'all think about it. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blood Sports TV. Shouts out to the whole LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Y'all already know what it is, man. It's your boy Blue. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace. Y'all could go check out this article on boxingscene.com. That's all I got for y'all. It's your boy Blue. Peace.
The Blue Blood Sport TV, baby, from the Empress. Much love.